In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto. Crypto fam, it's your boy CryptoKeeper. Hope everyone is doing well. We've got a new edition this evening. It's called Follow the Narrative. So we're going to check out a little bit what's going on in the news. The news is obviously a place that we always turn to figure out what's going on. And we're Debate Crypto. So we like to kind of question maybe sometimes what we are seeing. If you're already subscribed, we love it. Make sure you hit the like. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you do your thing. Subscribe. We are, as a reminder, giving away $500 2 days before Christmas, December 23rd, to one lucky subscriber. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you do that. Well, let's jump right into it. So today, we get some more information on what's going on in the wild world of Bitcoin and stocks. So it says stocks, Bitcoin fall on Omicron and inflation concerns. There's a beautiful picture of Mr. Jerome Powell. Looks like a mean old bag, if you ask me, but hey, what do I know? In a scheduled hearing before the Senate Banking Committee about the effects of you know what that I can't say on YouTube on the U.S. economy, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell signaled that high and persistent inflation is a growing concern, and the Fed's bond purchase program therefore may end sooner than expected. The major stock indices ended the day down between 1.55% and 1.92%, while the market capitalization of crypto, increasingly being watched as an inflation hedge, was up 0.5% Tuesday evening. Now, pause. First thing, why is the narrative all of a sudden changing? We have to look at this and understand that the news is very, what's the word I'm looking for? The news is very pointed, and the news delivers what what ultimately they want to serve up. If you've ever watched a whole bunch of different news, newscasts on the same evening, you will hear and see almost the same exact, to the word on some of these articles, right? On some of these broadcasts. And it's like, well, wait a minute. How do we have people in different states at different times during the evening coming up with the same exact story? Not just the overall broad story, but like the wording. Well, I'll tell you why. It's because it's called a narrative for a reason. Now, let's dig a little further into it. Fast facts. At this point, the U.S. economy is very strong and inflationary pressures are high. It is therefore appropriate, in my view, to consider wrapping up the taper of our asset purchases, which we actually announced at our November meeting, perhaps a few months earlier, Powell said. The risk of the variant Omicron wreaking havoc on the economy is a further unknown, Powell testified. It's not really baked into our forecasts, he said. Now, is it baked into their forecasts? That's questionable, right? It depends on, I guess, how you view what's going on. I think it's incredible that after we get to the point at which our whole economy was supposed to get to in relation to this topic, right? We got massive percentages of people that did what they were asking, what the government was asking. And now, because there is still some select people that want to think for themselves, that want to, question what is being served as a cold dish, now all of a sudden they want to serve up this scarier option, right? Here's the reality, in my opinion. The news media always wants something to point at. They want to be able to FUD you. They want to be able to scare you. They see a good thing in Bitcoin, in cryptocurrency, and any way for them to confuse you, for them to get you questioning yourselves as to what's going on, they're going to try and do it, in my estimation. Let's kick a little farther into it. So Powell's testimony was seen as a turn toward a more aggressive stance by the Fed that could lead to tighter monetary policy, which would restrain cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. Bitcoin was trading at around $57,000 on Tuesday evening, down from 58.2 when Powell's testimony began, according to CoinGecko. Now, I have all sorts of problems with this article. The main problem being we've been being told over and over and over a narrative that was good to push the public and sway the public in one direction. Now what's happening? They want to sway us in a different direction. So what do? Oh, now we've got, some new information that we're going to put out. So check this article out. Let's look at the other side of this, okay? Because there's always two sides, and actually I believe three sides to every story. As inflation keeps rising in the US, Bitcoin offers a way out. Now, check it out right off the bat. This headline is literally the opposite. One headline is saying, watch out, all this crazy stuff's happening and Bitcoin's going to go to zero. Arr. And then the second one says almost the exact opposite. It says, as inflation keeps rising in the US, Bitcoin offers a way out. Now, you guys know us well enough to know this is the article that we might look at and say, okay, tell me more, because I actually can jump on board with some of this. Let's dig into it. It's time to retire the word transitory when describing inflation, said Fed Chair Jerome Powell during a Senate testimony on the economy today. Powell explained its asset purchases would come to a halt earlier than planned next year. This is what we heard in the previous article. Bitcoin offers the chance for people to opt out of unpredictable monetary policies and eroding purchasing power. Guys, we have been talking about this for a long time. If you got into Bitcoin, if you are in the cryptocurrency space, you most likely got in for two reasons. One, because you wanted to get into an investment that you believe could make you a lot of money. That's all fair and well and good. Second, maybe you have a little bit different standard as to what you want for the future. Maybe you don't want everything to be pinned down with somebody else's thumb. Maybe you don't want the centralization that comes from our lovely government. And if that's why you're here, guys, we need to be paying attention to what is happening. We need to be pressing forward and trying to push forward the cryptocurrency space. We need to be supportive of decentralization. We cannot sit on our hands. We need to be making noise and talking about, hey, we will not be pushed around anymore. We will not be just fed whatever craziness you want to put out in the news. We need to say enough is enough. And this article kind of starts to touch on it. So let's go a little further into it. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said the central bank's asset purchases could end sooner than planned amid rising inflation rates and more robust U.S. economy, reported Bloomberg. As inflation runs rampant, Bitcoin comes to the rescue. It is appropriate, I think, for us to discuss at our next meeting, which is in a couple of weeks, whether it will be appropriate to wrap up our purchases a few months earlier, Powell reportedly said on Tuesday. In those 2 weeks, we are going to get more data and learn more about the new variant. Now, he's obviously trying to, throw in the talks about the variant to scare you. But the reality is, you and I, we know what could be a possible solution as far as monetary policy, and that is Bitcoin. That is cryptocurrency. So the Fed shared its tapering plans earlier this month, outlining a roadmap to lead its asset purchasing program to a halt by mid-2022. Over the past year and a half, the central bank has engaged with loose monetary policies through QE, or quantitative easing, seeking to increase the economy's liquidity amid the pandemic. Now, as the American economy gets back to its feet, Powell's concerns with inflation have picked up. The Fed chair reportedly said it was time to stop using, quote, transitory to describe inflation. We tend to use it to mean that it won't leave a permanent mark in the form of higher inflation, Powell said. I think it's a good time to retire that word and try to explain more clearly what we mean. Guys, do you not see how they twist and turn and press and move so that it just looks a little better? It's just taking a screw that maybe was twisted a little too tight and just easing off of it a little bit, just to not press in quite so tight. This is all about a narrative. And Bitcoin, in my estimation, is the answer to help save us from the ugly, ugly government that we are in cahoots with right now. I don't even want to say cahoots. They have us basically in on their game, and we want to change up the narrative. So Powell's remarks came in response to a question by Senator Pat Toomey, who questioned him for how long inflation would have to exceed the Fed's target for a central bank to acknowledge its permanence. Now, check this out. As the U.S. central bank carelessly maneuvers the economy at a whim, citizens can reclaim control over their finances with Bitcoin, the peer-to-peer monetary network based on an open source code and an idealistic supply differ from the financial system in vogue worldwide, backboned by soft fiat currencies. With a limited and programmatic supply, Bitcoin offers certainty and fairness to anyone that adopts it, enabling them to save and build wealth for the future, regardless of what policymakers choose to do next. Guys, listen. The writing has been on the wall for a long time now. We have had the money printer going burr, right? Because it fit what the agenda was. Now, all of a sudden, they're realizing the people understand what's happening and enough's enough. And as that's happening now, they take a little tweak on the narrative. Here's the thing that you can't really have a narrative on, and that's Bitcoin. If you really dig deep into Bitcoin, only 21 million will ever be mined and available, right? It has intrinsic value in supply and demand. People see the value in that. People also see the value in no one central entity taking control of our financial future. You can take care of your financial future. I can take care of my financial future. And the reality is, the fiat is fiat for a reason. It is backed by nothing. At least Bitcoin is backed by the idea of supply and demand and code. And when I say code, I mean literally the computer code. Code is law. Crypto fam, I love you guys. We appreciate every single one of you. Again, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Just as a reminder, December 23rd, we're giving away $500. So we would love for it to be you that will get that. So if nobody's told you before today, guys, I love you. Buy Bitcoin, not financial advice. Until next time, hodl like it's hot. We will see you soon.